Yo, Lowina Blackman here. Another big news headline in the crypto world this week. I would like to bring it to your attention. I like to make videos about money because I believe that the current financial system is broken and we need to educate ourselves to future-proof our wealth so we don't lose our hard-earned money to a failing banking system, especially not letting our next generation to pick up our mess, not to be a burden to the kids today. In this week's news, we have Godfrey Bloom, one of the smartest men in British politics and finance sector, came out on his Twitter and announced that he has bought his first Bitcoin. On October 1st, Bloom said that he was open to learn about the digital currency and even wanted to invite crypto expert for an interview on his YouTube channel, which has over 13,000 subscribers. He said, "I am open and looking for interviews for some top crypto people to teach a 70-year-old me about crypto." What a shame I don't use Twitter. And I'm not really famous anyway. But I am more than happy to teach him everything he needs to know about this fascinating crypto world, man. Love it. So why is Bloom turns bullish on Bitcoin? Being a strong gold guy, Bloom now considers investing in Bitcoin as a way to hedge against inflation, as he believes that the current fiat-based money system has weakened the global economy. Bloom believes that there is at least some chance that Bitcoin could become a vital piece of any smart investor's portfolio. As of now, he holds about 8% of his portfolio in silver, 65% in gold, and the rest in real estate. He is, however, planning to allocate some more of his assets into Bitcoin. He also wrote a book called The Magic of Banking, The Coming Collapse, back in 2017. In the book, he calls attention to the coming collapse of banks and fiat currencies because of decades of poorly managed monetary policy. Back then, he said that gold was the only form of hard money. While he has plenty of gold, silver, and properties, he is now adding Bitcoin into his portfolio as well. Maybe because he is 70 years old and I am almost 40, my risk tolerance is bigger. My portfolio is almost reversed than him. I hodl about 65% in Bitcoin and other altcoin. Next is properties, and then silver, and then last amount of gold that I have. Now, lastly, I will show you a small clip from, I think it's 2013 or 11, where Bloom saying to the European Parliament, he said, "You do not understand banking. All the banks are broke. When banks go broke through their own incompetence, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's a theft from the taxpayer, and until we start sending central bankers and politicians to prison for this outrage, it will continue."
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years, and that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
It's good, eh? Well, you are never too old to learn about Bitcoin. I have clients who are over 60 who came to me to learn how to diversify their retirement portfolio because they don't trust their super fund will last for 20-30 years, especially we are now living longer and longer. And now while Bloom may be looking at Bitcoin as an insurance policy against uncertainty, the technology is new compared to the rest of the finance, but from the new technologies comes major transformations. Bitcoin's potential use cases aren't fully realized yet. We are such a baby and will take time to fully develop. We're so early, we're so little right now. It's like the AI and the robotic industry is still very young and baking in the oven. But once we have, let's say, 5G and the next generation of tech invented, and suddenly, boom, Skynet might take over. So 2020 is the best chance to learn something new while we're in lockdown and receiving stimulus money or we work from home. Get ready for the new shift to the new world. At least prepare or at least learn or at least aware that this is happening. We are running a 3-day abundance challenge to expand our money awareness and to release any money blocks and do money meditation. Feel free to join my free Facebook group and grab a copy of my money magic workbook as well, because as you can hear Bloom's passion, I'm passionate to educate people about money and how to diversify and grow money and manifest money and invest money and make money and earn money and save money. Yeah. All right. Bye. Choo 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 choo.